Will you in luck now? Headshot.
That's not there so much, Riva.
We couldn't find a paradise.
It's in your heart.
You guys, give it up for Jacob. He's our MC today.
Oh, we still got a lot of folks coming in here.
Oh, yeah. Come on in. The water's fine.
Oh, hey there.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Welcome to the Jedi Temple. Ready you are to be Jedi. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's Vic, a man of many faces.
Kakarot. Kakarot you are.
Worst carrots ever.
No, it's Kakarot. Broly, broccoli. Gorge vegetable.
How's the weekend been for you guys? Good? I have a question for you. I'm going to turn it on you. Since instead of you asking us questions, I'm going to ask you one.
42.
How do you do it? How do you make it better every year than the last year? It was awesome this year. No, you, baby. No, Micah! I just scared everybody to get it. Was so funny. Everybody says, sorry.
Ouch, my brain.
Sorry.
With the volume and the hurting in the ears.
Your dad loves you.
That should be your new ringtone. Yeah, text and that's what happens.
Dude, you're looking awesome today. You need to be careful sticking forks in light sockets. Get that awesome spike look. Dude, that's rocking. Please tell me that's your real hair. Oh man, it looks so great.
No, the answer is, that's my real hair? Yeah. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Whenever you type on the teleprompter, Ron will read. What's it say over your head?
Something about chocolate.
Chocolate. What happens if you get chocolate? You turn into a monster? And what happened?
Well, currently, if she gets chocolate, it's going to mix in with that gum. That'll be weird. Chocolate gum?
That's the thing.
Pretty bad. Some each year starts being gross.
Chocolate steak.
He's like, can you do it?
Oh yeah. I shall never forget the Timbits.
We're going to make sure that most of these folks get in here before we get truly going, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I gotta go now.
Marka!
Oh, look, more.
Oh, thank you, Chels. I love you.
There is something special in
Oh
these.
my gosh, they're all chocolate!
They have to eat them and cry at the same time.
I'm so happy! Oh my gosh.
Thank you, those are good.
Right? Yummy, yummy.
Do it!
You know what I'm thinking, don't you?
Do it!
again. Now do it. Now do it. Now step on it. Now do it.
I don't know which one on the floor. The one with fuzz on it. Who is that? Is that Brolly before he gets all swollen?
It's Kakarot.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Damn. Like Timbits.
Yes.
John Cena. John Cena. Beat
I think the fictional alien would win.
Do you remember, you guys, there was a movie a long time ago, one of the funniest lines, one of my favorite lines. Did you guys ever see a movie called Stand By Me? With the four boys, right, that go on the
Will
train, right?
Yeah.
Will Wheaton, yeah. So there was one of the funniest moments in there. These boys are walking along the train tracks. And one of the kids says to the other guys, hey, who do you think would win in a fight, Mighty Mouse or Superman? And one of the other boys goes, you idiot. Mighty Mouse is a cartoon. Superman's a real guy. He's like, yeah, oh yeah. It'd be a good fight, though. It's Goku's fault.
Check. That's better.
Oh yeah, okay.
I need some more water on that.
Juice me up.
That's the non-juice. Yeah, other way.
Other way, keep coming. Come on.
A little louder where we don't have to yell.
Nick Fury. Come on, you got more? What's wrong with you? You got some more? Give me more.
A little louder for Vic.
See how loud this is? I want you to loud, Jacob, please. Yes. I'll give you a chocolate ball. Oh, hey, you guys. That's better.
That's
there you
good.
go. Thank you.
That's good. Thank you so much. Give it up for our host one more time.
Okay, I'm the guest MC for tonight. My name is Hentai Cupcake. And I'm perverted by taste delicious, ladies. So. Especially men also be really pretty. Alright, but...
Don't want to know about the icing.
It's tasty, I swear.
Nope. Don't want to know about the icing.
Alright, here, thank you all for coming to this wonderful DBZ celebration panel. We have two amazing voice actors here. Don't really need an introduction, but I'm still here for it. We have Vic Mignogna, the voice of Brolly.
Yeah, Vic.
And you know what? There's another character that I played in Dragon Ball Z that most people don't even know about. I played a character in the Ginyu Force named Berter. Yeah.
Berter.
Yeah. Nobody ever knows about him. But both Brolly and Berter combined cannot hold a candle. Come on, give it up for Master Roshi!
Even with a candle, I can't see anything.
Yes, we have the wonderful Mike McFarland.
Thank you so much. And much like Brolly plus others, there's Roshi, Yajirobi as well. Android 8, the one that looks like Frankenstein's monster. And various other people in the show, but those are the main ones, yeah.
That's dope.
How long have you been doing DBZ? How long? When did they start? Like, when did you come in?
We started recording Dragon Ball Z in 1997. A couple of the folks from here recorded it earlier.
97. How many of you were not born yet?
I was 1 when I did it, so we're really not that different in age. So I was 1 when I was Master Roshi.
Child prodigy,
yes.
Master Roshi.
Old man voice, age 1, and give me a bottle. Someone changing my diaper.
I love it. Go ahead, take it over, Jake. How you want to do it?
All right, here, so a we'll go ahead and just kind of talk about if you have some questions for them. What we'll do is just kind of raise your hand, just let me know who you want to ask you questions, and I'll run the mic over to them.
Okay, sure. That's a great idea. Why don't you go ahead and hop down there? You can be with them, and then you pick somebody up. You pick somebody out and have them ask a question.
Yeah, you pick the first one.
All right, so go ahead. Who has a question here?
I think the gentleman with the has a question.
All right.
Fork and light socket boy.
It works.
Oh, it does? Oh. I'm sorry, I'm just so loud. I'm not used to it. Anyways, yeah, I'm just a bit. Okay, I got two questions. One related to Mike, which really doesn't do much DBZ, but then I got one for Vic.
Okay.
Mike.
Yes.
Is your last name just a coincidence, or may you actually have some family relevance with a certain comedy producer? Come on, you all know who I'm talking about. His name is Seth. What's his name?
Seth Rogen. That guy's funny. I think if you trace our family heritage back far enough, then we probably ran around the same fields in Scotland. But otherwise, there's no relation. And there's also no relation to Todd, the artist who draws Spawn.
Who would actually like to see Master Roshi on a cameo Family Guy?
That'd be awesome.
Peter, I'm going to borrow Lois for a while. We're going shopping.
Okay, Vic, I know this is kind of a staple with you, but I was at your panel last year. I got you to sign Kelvio keychain once.
Oh, nice.
Talk to you about looking like Chris Jericho. You actually sound like him, too. Anyways, how hard was it for you to do the voice of Brolly?
Broly's a killer. I mean, everybody has probably heard that by now. It's pretty much made the rounds. When they first asked me to play the character, I had no idea how much I respected the guys that did 300 plus episodes of Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I went up there to Funimation to voice movie 8, Broly's big movie.
With me?
And after like 3 hours, my voice was shot. Because I went in there and I was just going for it, you know, just full on. And I thrashed it. And I had to come back and finish it because I couldn't get through it all. But, you know, I'm so honored to be a part of the DBZ world, you know. I mean, like I often say, I love Brolly. He just doesn't love me back. He's really hard on the voice, but I really enjoy playing the character.
Somewhat like Brock Lesnar.
Somewhat.
All right, next question here, folks.
You pick, man. It's all good.
Okay.
What's your favorite part of voicing your characters?
What's the favorite part of voicing the characters? For me, I'm lucky because Master Roshi and Yajirobi both are mostly there for fun and for comedy. So if someone like Vic or something is doing something like, you know, long, screaming stuff, whatever, I'll be on the sidelines going, "Look, he's doing things!" And that's all I have to do. Or, "Look, Bulma's about to take her shirt off!" You know, that's my job, and that's fun. So, but the fun part of playing those characters is that they're very funny, and they have funny dialogue and funny moments on screen.
The favorite part of playing Brolly is that I memorized his entire dialogue. Kakarot. That's it.
And screaming.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Every time I go in to record another video game, I'll say to Chris Sal, I'll be like, you know, how many times do you think I've said Kakarot? And he's like, you know, probably 6 million. And, you know, but they, fortunately, you know, they want you to record it all over again. And I often think, you know, I mean, I've probably said and yelled and screamed Kakarot every conceivable way. In fact, somebody told me that one of the video games, you can hold a certain sequence of buttons down and hear all of the Kakarots in sequence. I thought, wow, that must be very painful and unpleasant.
Here's a bonus feature of paid.
Yeah. In case you didn't already hate him, push these 3 buttons down and see what happens.
So when you do Master Roshi, you have to think evil, dirty thoughts. And have you ever been called pervert by parents after they've seen your performance?
By my parents?
By other people's parents.
Other people's parents.
My parents called him that once, but...
Yeah, other people's parents, for sure. My parents wouldn't call me a pervert. Let's see. What do I have to think? Evil thoughts? No, it's just fun. It's just, you know, it's like when you're getting ready to tell a joke. You're in joke mode. So I'm in Master Roshi mode. I don't have to go to like a central place in my mind where I keep Master Roshi. It's just there he is on screen, like, oh, awesome! You know, just get into it again. And then, I don't know. I don't think a lot of parents like come down on me or anything like that. I think it's just a fun character. So I don't think anyone's like, you know, my show watches this. You know, my children watch this as their means of education, and you're a bad influence. I don't think that's happened to me as of yet. Luckily for me.
Let's go ahead and go down here. She's had her hand up for a while.
When you think of Dragon Ball Z, naturally you think of powerful characters. So it got me thinking of you two as complete voice actors. So I was wondering, what do you think is your most powerful character that you voiced is?
The most powerful character that you have voiced. Huh.
Broly's pretty powerful.
He is pretty powerful.
I mean, you know, I often tease about, you know, all those other pussies, they gotta kind of put all their power together to beat Broly, right? In the first movie, they had to kind of combine all their powers. Yeah, he's a pretty powerful dude. It's funny when fans are always like trying to pit your characters against each other. Like, who would win in a fight, Ed or Broly? You know? I don't know, Ed would probably run away screaming from Broly. He'd be like, ow, help me!
Alchemy, punches in the face.
Ouch!
And done.
It's not working!
I don't know, Master Roshi trained everybody, and he can do a Kamehameha, even though he's human.
I've seen you go, yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen you busted.
He bulks up, and I've seen the memes where there's the real guy that looks like that. It's like bulked up Master Roshi. So probably Master Roshi. I don't think I've played a lot of guys with like magic powers. Oh, except for Kane with Trinity in Trinity Blood. He was pretty powerful too. And sexy.
I'm sorry, but in King of Sexy Characters, there's a guy right beside you who did Tamaki. Come on!
Yes, but Tamaki's not powerful.
Yes, and we are putting him in a sexy contest.
Yes, yeah, right.
And thank you for saying his name correctly.
I kill them with love. That's about all he does.
And delivery of instant coffee.
Question.
Can I have a Timbit?
Get up here, my friend.
Yeah. There's one down here somewhere that...
Your Timbit will be delivered by Goku.
Don't drop it.
You're welcome. Question?
I know a lot of people in here love you two voices, but how do you guys feel about your own voices when you hear it?
My own voice?
What an interesting question.
Yeah.
Wait, listen.
Is that Careless Whisper? That sounded like Careless Whisper. It sounded like the saxophone.
Is it the La 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 guy? It is Careless.
Can we close those doors back there? Would you do that? Just.
Can it be such a whisper that we don't hear it anymore?
I feel so unsure. What do we think of our own voices?
I like the sound of my own voice. I mean, I don't sit around my house and go like, man, I sound great. I mean, I don't do that. But I find that when I'm voicing characters, I take a bit more care of my enunciation and my clarity than in my speaking voice of just hanging out. So I wish that my speaking voice when I hang out and just amongst friends, etc., that it was as clear and clean and crisp as when I go in to record, because I mutter sometimes.
You know, I lived in Houston, Texas for many years. Long before I was involved with ADV, long before I found out about voice acting and anime. And I was represented by an agent in Houston, and she would send me auditions for voiceover stuff. Not not voice acting, but voiceover.
Like Bank of America does blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. If you're suffering from hemorrhoids, blah, 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 you know.
You go to Bank of America.
Someday. And I would never book anything. I would never get anything. And I thought, this is stupid. Why do I even have an agent for voiceover? You know, I mean, I don't have one of those resonant radio kind of voices, announcer voices, and so I was really kind of discouraged about it. I mean, I've been singing my whole life, so I guess I'm comfortable with my voice. But you know, your voice. Do you realize this? I mean, I know you probably know this, but you might not have ever thought about it. No one else on the entire planet hears your voice the way you do. Did you ever think about that? When you speak, your voice is resonating around in your head, and the way you sound to yourself is not the way you sound to any other human on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that? It's just kind of strange.
That's why some people are like,
Oh, I hate the way I sound on the phone.
that's the way you sound.
That's right. Right. When you
That's
hear
your voice.
yourself played back
It's
in a
so weird.
recording, you're like,
Yeah.
is that me? Is that my voice?
That sounds so weird. That's what you sound like.
But I was really discouraged because I wasn't getting any opportunities to do any kind of announcer or voice-over commercial gigs. And then when I got the chance to audition for ADV, suddenly there were characters that I could play that didn't have to sound like a radio announcer. They could sound, you know, like a kid or or whatever the character may be, you know,
or a dude bro.
Yeah. So I was very encouraged by that because my own voice didn't really do too well in the voice-over announcer radio guy kind of sound. So voice acting has given me the chance to do a lot more.
Yes.
Jacob.
Can you do the reaction when voice reaction when Edward is called Run?
A little louder, please.
I heard Edward
We couldn't
something.
hear you.
A little louder for me, sweetheart.
Can you kind of do the voice reaction when Edward is called Run?
I don't think so.
When Edward's called what?
Run.
Yeah, all we can hear is.
Well, you don't even need a microphone for that. Like, I don't need this.
She's asking if you can do the voice reaction of when Edward Elric is called Run.
What'd you call me?
Oh man, it's too bad there's not 5 billion online.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's ever done it in front of people.
Little Google search there.
That's so much easier than the pain in the throat. Yes.
You know, Mike will tell you when we record that show, and whenever Ed had to scream, short rants, we would always save them to the very end. Because, that kind of trashes your voice too. So we would do all the normal talking ahead of time. We'd skip over any short rants and then come back and record those at the end.
And then also, along with recording them at the end, because, I voice act quite a bit as well, along with the directing I do. I'm like, all right, let's watch it. Okay, when his mouth gets bigger there, and then there's a brief pause, and then we make sure to map everything out so we can do it like one time really well.
And make sure that the engineer turns the record level down.
Yeah,
because if he's not ready for it, and I go,
fried
it just
signal.
pins the needle, and it's over, it's distorted and can't be used.
And I'll go like, stop.
What's your favorite Dragon Ball Z character other than the ones that you voice?
Favorite Dragon Ball Z character other than the ones we voice? Vegeta's a fan favorite. Yeah. So that's a fun, easy pick. I like Vegeta.
Yeah, I think anything Chris Sabat does is my favorite. I mean, he's like,
That's half the show.
I know. I mean, he almost single-handedly, he did so many characters when the show first came to Texas, and he's amazing, and I love any of the characters he does.
Yes, they're all good.
What's the funniest story you guys have from your voice acting careers?
From the careers? The entire careers of voice acting.
That's a lot of stories.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's only funny if you're there when it happens, and the situations that build up to it, and then it goes down. I mean, there's funny stuff I think is funny, like watching the voice actors scream as they pass out and fall down in the booth. Well, that's certainly not funny for them, but it is funny for me to hear. Oh!
Oddly enough, they don't think that's one of the funniest moments.
Yeah. I think it's great. I laugh.
You know, the problem with having done this as long as Mike and I have done it is that it's hard to pick one thing because a lot of fun things happen over the course of years of work. And you probably are the same way. Something really funny will happen and you'll think, I'm going to remember this because it'll be a really funny story to share. And then you forget it.
And we go back to that in my brain and, well, the file's empty. What happened?
There have been a lot of fun experiences.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff has happened.
There are a lot of fun times happen when actors come in before you and they record lines for you, little bombs that they leave.
Yeah, like they'll record the proper line that you're supposed to get, and then they'll record something else for when the next actor comes in, and the engineer will switch those lines out, so you'll be concentrating and want to do the line great, and then you hear like,
I just let a fart
in your pre-roll. Or something of that nature.
Yes.
I don't know if this has already been asked. If it has, sorry, but would you like to live as your the character you voice? Like, would you like to be them?
Huh. No. I would like having my own little house on an island that's isolated and fun and nice, where I could just go outside and the front yard is beach. That part's cool. And the knowing martial arts part, that part's cool. The largest pervert in the world, probably not cool. And being so close to the ends of one's years is also probably not cool. But some parts are cool.
Yeah, I'm with Mike. Blowing up planets, good thing. Having a one-word vocabulary, bad thing.
You and Groot and Hodor could all hang out together.
Oh gosh,
Hodor.
That would be the funniest. Okay, somebody out there, do a little fan fiction. Yeah. There you go.
Hodor. I am Groot. Kakarot. I'm Groot. Here's the remix.
I just want to say thank you for coming out here.
Thank you, man.
My question is, what are the stresses and good points about working in the Dragon Ball Z franchise?
What?
What are the stresses?
And good points.
Good points, bad points, okay.
Good points, bad points of working in the Dragon Ball Z franchise. Well, Vic has already mentioned like the vocal fatigue and how much it hurts to record sometimes. The good points are, of course, having you guys check it all out and enjoy the show. I like watching the show too afterwards. The recording part, it does hurt from time to time. I also think a lot of the people who work on the show with me, they're friends of mine and I like to see them, so I know that when we're recording Dragon Ball, there's a higher opportunity for me to run into a couple of folks that I don't get to see on a regular basis, like Sean Schimmel and a few others, and that's fun too.
I find it a great honor, as I said earlier, to be a part of Dragon Ball Z, because whether you even like the show or not, it's kind of iconic, DBZ was probably responsible for, in many ways, along with several other shows, for bringing anime into mainstream. I mean, it was one of the forerunners.
Yeah, Dragon Ball and Pokemon.
Yeah, that kind of stuff really kind of paved the way
90 shows.
for anime being so mainstream now. So it's an incredible privilege to be a part of it. It is very hard on the voice, but that's just the trade-off. I mean, that's the kind of show it is, and when you're done with it, I don't know if any of you have seen the new movie, but it's awesome.
Battle of Gods? You guys seen Battle of Gods?
Great.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's all about some pudding.
It was amazing. I got a question for Vic.
Yeah.
Ever since you played Brolly, have you ever played any other villains ever since?
Have I ever played any other villains?
Ever since.
Oh my gosh, yes, dude. I've lots of villains. Oh my gosh. In fact, I totally forgot about one that somebody had me sign for today from Basara. Anybody know Basara? Yeah. Yeah, and oh my gosh, dude, I played demons and perverts and my share of perverts, certainly. And lots of bad guys. Yeah. Lots of them.
Bad guys are fun.
Yeah, they are. Hi.
Do you guys watch the series you voice in, or do you just kind of leave it at that?
I typically watch the series that I voice in within a couple of like boundaries or reasons. One is if I really did enjoy the work that I put into it, and I want to check out and see how the rest of the story goes when all was involved. Another one is if I direct it, I want to watch it all afterwards. Like I've seen it 5 billion times by the time that it's hit a Blu-ray or DVD, but I still want to watch like the end product so I can just sit down and watch it like any of you guys would and see what that experience is like. But if it's really, 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 really long, like a Dragon Ball or like One Piece or something like that, I've actually seen like way, way, way more One Piece than I have of Dragon Ball. And I've seen a lot of Dragon Ball, but I've seen every episode of One Piece that's thus far been recorded, plus some others ahead and some other movies and stuff like that, many, many, many times each. Because I was kind of like the go-to guy for One Piece on that, since Funimation took over the dubbing on that. But those would be the ones where I don't watch as much, because they're like 600 to 1,000 episodes long. It would take up a lot of my life.
Yeah, I could probably count on, probably on my hands and feet how many of the shows that I've done that I actually have seen all the way through. Mostly because, as Mike said, you know, if you're trying to stay busy and work, you don't get the chance to sit and watch too much.
Mm-hmm.
But the shows that I've been a part of that I was really invested in, the shows that I really fell in love with and was excited to see how they came out, I saw those shows. Obviously, like Full Metal and Oran High School and D and Angel and Vampire Night. Those kind of shows.
Did you watch all of Princess Nine?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, that's a great show.
Loved it. You know, and another reason, you guys, is because if I would go in to record, well, whenever any voice actor goes in to record a show, you may be the first person to record, and the other actors haven't recorded yet. So you're pretending to respond to them. You're pretending to talk to them, but you don't get to hear their performances. And so it's really fun to sit down on a Friday night or a Saturday night and watch the episodes completed. And see them with everybody's parts in place and all mixed and all the sound effects and the music all put together.
Yeah.
That's really, really fun. And also, if there's a story arc that your character is not in, then you wouldn't typically see that when you record. Because, you know, they're not going to show you stuff that you're not in. They're going to, you know, they're going to use your time in the studio to record your parts. So like Full Metal, for instance, there would be entire story arcs back in Amestris, for instance, that Ed wasn't there. So Vic was interested in what was going on in Amestris, but I didn't know because I didn't see it when I recorded. So it was always fun to watch the shows completed and see what was going on throughout the show. But I haven't gotten to see more than probably 15 or 20 of the shows that I've done.
Which would you say is your favorite Dragon Ball Z episode ever?
Individual episode?
Yeah, just single one episode.
Do you have a favorite? Be thinking about it.
5.
That was a good
one. 5, right there. There we go.
I was going to say 5.
Oh, you can still say 5.
5 or 9. I can't decide. You know the Dragon Ball Z joke, right? How many Dragon Ball Z characters does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Over 9,000! 1, but it takes
No.
2 years.
It only takes 2, but it takes 35 episodes. I don't know, you can pick one, you know? I mean, typically the things you're most fond of are the things that you worked on that you enjoyed.
Yeah. For Dragon Ball, I could pick arcs. Like, I like the Cell games best of the Dragon Ball Z universe. I think that's the most fun, and the characters go through the most change. We have some characters growing up, things of that nature. But like individual episodes, it's really hard to tell, because I could try to think back to one episode, and I'd probably combine 4. Like, this happened, and then that, and then this, and then that. That was spread out like, oh, whoops.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I like the Cell games as far as just Z is concerned. That's my favorite part of Dragon Ball. Hello.
I'd just like to know if you ever had an experience while recording where you just thought, wow, this is just the best thing that I've ever done, and I will never be able to top this.
I don't usually think that about anything as I'm recording it. I have things that I'm pleased with and pleased with the way they turn out. But I usually don't, I don't know. Because it almost sounds like I'm in the booth high-fiving myself. Yes, I was so good right then. There have been like shows I've worked on that I'm super proud of and happy to be part of and in. But it's usually more about everything all together than it is just me.
I would say that it's hard to be objective on your own work. You know, you may think you did something really good, and you know the people that watch it or see it may not think it was the best thing you did. So I'm more interested in what you, as the audience, thinks about the work that we do.
Yes.
Well, I love you. But I mean, really, to be honest with you, I mean, my own opinion of my work is very subjective, anything I do. So I'm much more interested in hearing from you guys when we do events, and we talk to you guys, and we find out certain characters we did, or certain stories that we were a part of that made you laugh really big, or made you cry, or it had some kind of a big impact on you. That's the best way for me to gauge, you know, what my best work was. So.
What's it like to go back and watch a show that you voiced and voice acted in? And do you feel as connected to the characters as you would in a show that didn't voice act? Is it weird to hear your own voice?
I have two different ways, I guess, of answering that question. Because as a director, when I go back and watch it afterwards, I know that I've kind of helped. Obviously, did not build the story or any of that nature because I wasn't the creator, but helped tell the story in English to a different audience and try to give them the same experience that people who watched it in Japanese the first time. Where a Japanese fan and an English fan got together with an interpreter, they could share all the same moments and talk about how much of this portion of the show they loved, and et cetera, et cetera. That's the goal. So when I watch one that I've directed, especially by the time that it's hit, the final Blu-ray or DVD product. I've seen it, I've tweaked it, I've done every little change that I want, caught every little movement of the mouth and everybody's pronunciation and all those sorts of things, and made sure that it's super, the way that I think that it should sound. And I get a satisfaction of watching the Blu-ray afterwards, knowing that, like, cool, nothing went wrong, nothing glitched, nothing whatever. I can watch the show and know that anyone who is watching the show is getting the experience that I intended for them to have and all the hard work that went into it. On the flip side, if I'm working on watching a show that I didn't direct or whatever, then it's a really cool opportunity, as Vic was saying earlier, to see all the other storylines and see what everybody else's work that went into it was involved, and watch it more from a fan point of view. It doesn't really throw me off when I see or hear myself coming on the screen. I guess just because I've done it for so long, it doesn't take me out of it. It's still the character on screen for me. It's not me.
You move so quickly in voice acting work. I mean, Mike, he works with so many different actors, and you do a lot of volume. I mean, he and I both have done a ton of volume, you know what I mean? And so if you do a line right, like let's say you're in the recording booth and you look at the script and you have a line. If you do that line right the first time, chances are you'll just go to the next line and you will never hear or say that line again.
Unless it's Kakarot.
And a year later, when you see the show or you catch some of it, you don't, for me anyway, I don't even remember like saying some of the things that I said because you did it in the moment, quickly, and you moved past it. So it's kind of fun, it's kind of fresh and new because you can't possibly keep track of all the things you said. It's not like a theater production where you memorize all of your lines, and they stay in your mind for a long time. Sometimes years later, you can quote lines from a character that you played in a theater production.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like trying to recall, unless you have like a very specific pattern of doing so. Like, what did you have for lunch March 13th of last year?
Exactly.
It's almost like that. Like, I'm sure that happened, and I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, fans will come up and say, I love when you said such and such a line, and I'll be like, yeah, that was really fun, wasn't it? I don't even remember saying it, but and that's the downside because you work so quickly. But that does make it kind of fun when you get to see it, you know, a year or two later.
Indeed.
Have you ever prank called anybody in your character's voice?
Frank called in the character's voice. That's a dead giveaway to who it is.
I'm totally not Mike McFarland or Master Roshi. I gotta go, bye. Guess who this is?
Mike, hang up.
Oh, Phil.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying Kakarot even when they pay me. So I'm not going to sit around my house and do it for fun. Probably not.
Hello? Kakarot. Someone go to Vic's place. He's on some sort of medication.
Vic, I know it's you.
Hi. As you know, the Dragon Ball Z Abridged series has been really popular recently. If you've guys seen it, what have you thought about the take on your character?
I've seen little bits of it. I haven't seen it like as much as probably some of you guys have. And I've met some of the guys that are involved with that, and they're really cool. I think that it's very funny, and I like it. With the list that I've seen, I think it's funny.
I haven't seen much of it. Is Brolly even in it?
Not yet.
It's a matter of time, I'm sure. No, I haven't seen much of it, but as Mike said, I know the guys that do it, and that's fun. When I was a little kid, I did Star Wars parodies and Star Trek parodies, and that was my way of showing my love for something that I was, excited about. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah. And now that not now, but like when Vic and I were growing up, there was no internet or anything. There wasn't that outlet. So now that there's an outlet, so that if you have fun and you have a love and joy for something like that, you could share it with a whole bunch of other people who would appreciate it as well. So, yay the times we live in.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Hi. I was wondering, throughout your voice acting career, which scenes would you say you had the most difficulty with?
Which scenes?
Let's see. I guess it'd be two types of answers for me. One would be the pain difficulty, and that would be a few scenes with Buggy from One Piece, some scenes with, actually, believe it or not, Ritsu Soma from Fruits Basket, because some of that screaming hurt. And I guess, from an emotional standpoint, some of what Tybalt did in Romeo X Juliet was hard to record, but I really enjoyed it and I liked the work. And most recently, some of the stuff that Jean Kirstein does in Titan, especially the stuff involving Marco and that sort of stuff, was hard to record.
Recently, for years I've made jokes and talked about, Brolly and how difficult he was on the voice to do. But, recently I play a couple of characters in the Digimon Fusion series, and there's one character who's a big crazy monster lion kind of a character named Mad Leomon, and he's even worse than Brolly. And so now I have two fun characters to talk about. The most difficult scenes for me have always been the physically, challenging scenes on the throat. I have such enormous respect for the DBZ guys that have been doing it for, hundreds and hundreds of episodes. They must have titanium larynxes because it really takes its toll. But I really respect, the kind of work, the kind of strength that those guys have and resilience that their voices have.
So my question is, how long is a regular, typical recording day? And then how hard is it to keep your energy up throughout the day?
Typically, most of the studios that I have worked with have either a 10 to 6, a 9 to 5, 11 to 7, somewhere in that sort of time frame where it's an 8-hour day of recording. For local actors as they come in, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours at a time, sometimes even less than that if they just have a couple of lines that you need to take care of for their character. But we try not to work anyone over about, between 2 and 4 hours, depending on the type of character. If it's Colleen Clinkenbeard coming in for Luffy, 2 to 3 hours is enough of that voice on her, because that's just a really, there's a lot of strain involved with that voice. It'd be like Vic recording Brolly or something. It's just the way it is. It hurts. If it's Colleen doing Hawkeye or something, Colleen can do Hawkeye for 8 hours, 10 hours a day, because it just kind of sounds like her voice just being tough and stoic and soldierly, military. When we have actors come in from out of town, like Vic when he was recording Alchemist from time to time, especially the Brotherhood time frame. Well, you were out of town no matter what. You were either Houston or LA, so Vic would come in. And the out-of-town folks have the disadvantage of they want to get as much done within the time frame of them being in town for a couple of days, but that means that they have to work 7 hours or sometimes longer a day. So some folks like Vic, give it up for him, trooper, would come in and do difficult roles and spend 7 hours a day or so in a booth. And it's not just spending the time in the booth recording, where you get the wear and tear on your voice. You're just in a box all day. You're in a small, dark room, and it just, that's not good. Man was not meant to live that way. That's why we crawled out of the cave. So I, as a voice director, am aware of that. As a voice actor, I keep that in mind too. We take lots of breaks. We try to have fun as we're recording while still getting the work done and stuff like that, and just try to make the best of it as possible, knowing that we really have a task and a goal at hand.
After a handful of hours, almost anybody's voice just kind of starts to fatigue a little bit, And so depending on, like Mike said, depending on the type of character you're playing, you may have a handful of hours before it starts sounding a little raspy, a little thick, and some characters you can do longer.
I would assume Tamaki would be much easier to continue.
Oh yeah, Tamaki was a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Fi from Tsubasa, piece of cake. Because Fi doesn't even yell. At least Tamaki freaks out from time to time.
Yeah.
Fi all the time. Nothing ever bothered him. He was just fine all the time. Even when he's fighting, he talks like this. So there was no problem with doing a voice like that. But like when we do Brolly, I'll let you in on a little funny trade secret. When I go to Chris Sabat's studio to record Brolly now for a video game, this is our plan of attack. We record for 10 minutes, and then we pause for 5 minutes. And then we hit it hard, scream and yell, burn through 15, 20 lines in 10, 15 minutes, and then we pause for 5 minutes. And you just let the voice relax, Because your voice is a muscle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are muscles. And you guys, anybody who exercises, right?
Yeah.
You know that when you lift weights, you fatigue your muscles. And then you drop the barbell for what, a minute or two, right? And then you pick it up and hit it again. But you gotta let your muscle, you gotta let it relax and recover before you hit it again.
Yeah.
So if you push it too far, that's when you start losing your voice. And it takes several days to come back. Where's our mic? Oh, there you are.
As a continuation on the question of the Dragon Ball Z abridged, what is your overall opinion of abridged animes in general?
Overall opinion of abridged animes in general. I think it's all in good fun. I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with it. I guess on a legal standpoint, as long as it's meant for fun and not for money or profit, nobody's trying to make a buck off of it. That would be wrong for the people who created the original property, because they wouldn't see any of that. But as long as it's for fun, for fandom, it's like having a comedic fanfic with the existing animation, things like that. I think that it's fun.
I feel exactly the same way as Mike does, actually. When we were kids, like I said, when we were kids, we did things similar because it was a way we expressed our love or our passion for something that we enjoyed. There wasn't any internet to share it with 6 million people, but we did it, and it was because we enjoyed whatever it was. So I don't begrudge people that want to do fan dubs and want to have fun with it, and express their love for something, as long as they don't try to make money from somebody else's property. That's really the only problem.
Yeah.
What's your guys' favorite anime that you don't voice in?
What's that?
Favorite anime that we have not voiced?
My quick go-to answer is Wolf's Rain. I know some people consider that a sad anime, but here's a quick tip from Mike. I love sad anime. I love sad anime. And along with that, I think the story's great, and as far as the dub goes, Mary McGlynn did that one, and it was the one that she did after Bebop. And I know a lot of people hold Bebop as the trophy of all time dub, and I really, really love and respect that Bebop dub, but I like that Wolf's Ring dub just to hear more. I think it's brilliant. I think even like Farmer that comes out and shouts one thing sounds perfect. I think everybody in Wolf's Ring sounds great.
I hate to sound like I'm copying you, but for a long time people told me that Wolf's Ring was really a great show and a great dub, and so I haven't gotten to see all of it yet, but if I had to pick one that I thought was really great that I had absolutely nothing to do with and knew nothing about beforehand, I would probably say Wolf's Ring as well.
Yeah. That and Bebop are just both just so very good. They're good shows and good dubs, and I've actually seen them both in both languages too, so it's just a good watch. Love them.
So, I was wondering, out of all the DBZ characters, if you could have voiced any of the other DBZ characters, which would you pick?
If I could voice a character that wasn't the one that I voiced, I don't know. I guess the same as my fan favorite from earlier. I think Vegeta would be fun, but I think if you were asked any dude that worked on Dragon Ball, blah 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 blah, probably Vegeta, just because that's a fun character.
I don't know. I'd be afraid to say anyone in particular. I mean, everybody that worked on it did such a perfect job with their character.
Of course,
I don't know. I never really thought about it. I don't know.
Say Poir.
Say what?
Poir.
Poir. I felt that for a long time. I've been wanting to say that. So.
Poir is the next choice.
I feel like I have something to say as Poir. You know, I have something important I want to say.
And when you do say it, it's got to be really, really high.
I was wondering, do you guys follow any of the newer animes coming out, and do you have anybody you would like to either voice act on or direct on, or just generally work on?
Yeah, any new animes? Do we follow any new animes that are coming out? Is there anything that we'd like to be part of?
I don't really follow a whole lot of new ones for this reason. If I start watching something, let's say if I just watch broadcasts from Japan, straight out of Japan, and I happen to, through some sort of legal stream, there's a subtitled version of it, and I can check it out less than 24 hours later. If I really love the show, there's only so much of a chance that Funimation will get it, and then within that, there's only so much of a chance that it'll be me that works on it. So I don't want to set myself up over and over and over to fall in love with something and love it and can't wait to do it and want to work on it, and then that just have not happened just by no means of anything except that's just the way that the cards fell, and that's the way the dice rolled. Once it starts coming down to like, this is going to hit somewhere within like a month, 2 months, and I know Funimation has it, I know it's going to be recorded pretty soon, I might start looking into things so I can, voice some sort of preference. But beyond that, no, I don't watch things too far in advance because I don't want my hopes dashed over and over again.
I'd really love. There's a show that I'd really love to be a part of. I've been hearing a lot about it for a while, and I hope I get the chance to be a part of it. It's called Free. So you guys tonight, say your little prayers. Offer up a prayer for me. I would love to be a part of the new Sailor Moon dub that's happening right now. We only have so much control. In fact, by so much control, I mean none. We have absolutely no control. But I hear, I hear a lot of things from you guys. You tell me about things and characters and shows that you really enjoy, and I look into those, and hopefully I can get to be a part of some of those. Those are a couple that I'd love to be a part of.
Is there a character you feel like you...
Sorry?
Just talk right to the top of it.
Is there a character you feel like you didn't voice as well as you liked, or that your voice didn't portray in the way, like, you felt that the character's voice would come out as, I guess?
I don't know. I don't really think about it in that aspect. If I'm cast by someone else, then that becomes their call. So whether or not I agree with, like, I shouldn't voice this character, or I should voice this character, that's not even up to me anymore unless I want to just turn it down. And then I'm basically saying, no, I don't like money, I don't like work, and I don't like to explore art and discover things through this medium. And as far as, you know, did I do my best each time? I always go in and try to do my best. If the director sees something differently, then I'll do my best at what it is that they're asking for. And whether or not we see eye to eye, he gets to make the call, and I don't dwell on it past the point where he goes, cool, we have that, I have what I need, and let's continue. I'm like, it's great, then we're just going to move on.
There are a couple of things I think that I've heard from years gone by that I wish I'd have the chance maybe to do again. You know, things from early on when I first started, things that I really loved, and I was still kind of new to what we were doing, and learning what you learn over the years of doing this, and then you wish you could go back and you know, do that, try that again, or do that character again, knowing what you know now and bringing some of the things that you've learned over the years to that early character. There were some that I played early on that I loved so much, and I was still pretty new at voice acting, so I wasn't really sure exactly what I was doing. I'd love to get to do some of those guys again, but you know, it is what it is. And just like Mike, you do, like he said, you do the best you can with every role, whether it's 2 lines, you know, whether it's guy behind the bush, or you know, one of the main characters, or the bush itself. It doesn't matter. You do the best you can. Do the best you can and hope for the best. Hi.
If you could create your own anime character, what would they look like?
Let's see. It looked like me, younger, with Bruce Lee's build. That'd be pretty awesome. And he'd sound just like me.
I think the perfect character would have long blonde hair and wear a periwinkle jacket and go to a private school and wear a tie with a purple stripe down the middle. No, I don't know. You know what? Every time I work on something, I'll see some character. I'm like, what a cool character design. You know, it's some of the characters are amazing. I love Dark Mouse. He's purple hair, and I mean, I love so many things about, you know, like the design of the Titan characters, their uniforms, and their weaponry and stuff. I mean, every time I see a new show, there's something about it that I just think, wow. I don't know who these guys are that design this stuff, but they're amazing. There's just no end to their creativity and some of the great designs they come up with. I definitely do not have the skill to design something anywhere near as good as the stuff they come up with.
On the line of your aforementioned perfect character, I have a sister who sadly wasn't able to make it here, but is a bit of a fan. So I was wondering if maybe we could record a message for her in the voice of Tamaki.
What's her name?
Lauren.
Lauren? Lauren, you're not supposed to be in the Dragon Ball Z panel. I hope you know that. But if you were here, you would be my princess.
Aww.
No, please do it.
You are a slave to your fandom.
No, I'm not. I will not do it. How about that? Showing my strength of fortitude character. I won't do it. Okay. Chocolate girl, chocolate girl.
Would you actually sign my pass?
Will I sign your pass? Well, of course. I'll do that after. Come up after and we'll do that. Absolutely, sweetheart.
Which is not too long now, I think like 10, 15 minutes.
Quick question for Vic.
Could you just say that side's reaction when he saw Medusa's little baby boomers?
Oh, little baby boomers. I love that pervert. See, there's another pervert. I get cast as perverts. I don't know why.
So out of all the shows that you've done, which were your favorite bloopers or most memorable scripts out of them? And would you like some Oreo cookies?
What cookies? Oh, dude, I have a stash of Timbits right here. I'm good.
And I went to P&E and I had fried Oreos, so I'm Oreoed out for the time.
Did you really?
I had fried Oreos and they were good. And I had fried Mars bar and it was good. And then I had a funnel cake. And I had a savory crepe with chicken and Swiss and spinach and then I rode a ride and shook it all up inside my stomach. And then went through the haunted house. It was awesome. Bloopers. I don't know. I think my favorite collection of bloopers were the Brotherhood bloopers. I thought those were pretty awesome. I thought some of them would never see the light of day because I didn't know we were ever going to do bloopers, or like, you know, a lot of Japanese licensors don't want bloopers on their product. They want to just the finished, cool, awesome final product with no funny business. So that was like, oh, we get to do that? Well, cool. Let me go back and find all of these because some of them are golden. And I liked the ones that were in that. Vic did several that were funny, and man, Maxie and her potty mouth was just funny.
Maxie.
Yeah, it's good.
That was one of my first introductions to Maxie.
Yeah.
You guys, Maxie Whitehead played Al in Brotherhood, and when I came in for one of the very first sessions, and I was so excited to hear what she sounded like, right? I mean, my brother, I want to hear her. And there was this scene, and that sounds weird, doesn't it? My brother, I want to hear her. But there was a scene where Al and Ed are walking away from Winry's house. You know this one? And yeah, and Winry says something like, "Don't forget to come back for dinner. Andy Panaco's making stew." And they're walking away from camera, so their backs are to the camera, and Al looks over his shoulder and he's like, "Yay, stew!" Like 2 flaps, "Yay, stew!" and Ed doesn't even turn around. Ed's like, "Yeah, whatever," something. Being Ed. And I was so excited to hear Maxie. And so I'm getting ready to record my lines right after Maxie says, "Yay, stew!" And I'm all ready to go, whatever. Boop, boop. Right before I say my line, I hear Maxie Whitehead say, "F yeah."
But the F had 3 other letters after it.
Oh my gosh, I just lost it. It's like, "F yeah!" And I thought, all right, I love this girl.
And Maxie's not a potty mouth. It's like, say this, it'll be funny. Oh, you like saying that? That's awesome.
I love the Oron bloopers too. Mostly because we were told ahead of time we would get to do stuff.
Oh, okay.
On that particular show, Caitlin told us that if there were any good bloopers, that they would be releasing. So we, as like Mike said, usually you don't get to do that. Usually they'll never see the light of day. So there's really no point in saving them or trying to think of something really funny because no one will ever hear it. But with Oron, we knew that there were gonna be some opportunities for that. So we were able to have some fun with the Oron bloopers.
Vic, can you give us your
microphone?
No, right here.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Vic.
Hi.
Vic, can you give us your best Master Roshi impersonation?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
And Mike, can you give us your best Brolly impersonation?
Okay. First of all, say something. Let me hear it.
Oh, you want to hear a Roshi line?
I want to hear Master Roshi.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Vic Mignogna and everybody loves me. Hey, my name is Vic Mignogna and everybody loves me. Boomies!
Alright, my turn, you're gonna do a Brolly line. do all one of them.
Oh my gosh. Do I really have to do it? You know what he sounds like?
Yeah, it's gonna be tit for tat.
What would he say? I'm trying to think of. He did actually talk once. Before he had brain damage. He just was relegated to say Kakarot.
Do Brolly ordering a combo meal at McDonald's.
I'd like a quarter pounder with extra meat. I'd like a quarter pounder with extra meat. Kakarot, 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 Kakarot. Boomies! Extra big boomies!
Badood Kakarot.
I love them.
Badood Kakarot. Badood Kakarot.
Roshi's into my brain. Yeah. Alright, well, where's our microphone?
Please, the microphone!
All right, this is a question I think
For the ages.
this is more so for Mike than Vic. But what were the struggles moving the recording of Dragon Ball Z from Vancouver to Texas?
Well, I don't really know the specific troubles or as far as getting it started. Funimation has always been based in Texas. There was a time frame when it was being recorded here, and when it came to a certain point in the production, they had an open call audition, like, let's see what the Dallas talent has as far as other anime. We're probably going to do more stuff. We got a lot of characters we need to do. Let's just hear what they have to offer. We have this separate Dragon Ball movie that has nothing to do with the exact show that we're working on now. Let's cast that and see what that sounds like and see what that's like. The Dallas-Fort Worth area is, I think, third in the United States as far as commercial and industrial acting. A lot of commercials get made there, a lot of industrial films, a lot of product films and stuff like that. So there's a very large active actor base that lives there that acts for a living. They had a large audition. Some of it was based on we're going to hear the Seiyu's performance, and some of it was based on we're going to hear what the previous dub sounds like for some of these characters that exist that in both worlds, both in the Dragon Ball world and the Dragon Ball Z world, and go from there. And after that project was over, they're like, oh wow, that was very smooth. You can move production to Texas, I suppose. But that was all done way over my head, so I don't know all the details of it. That's my outsider perspective of being part of the cast. Yeah.
We're often not privy to that, to those kind of negotiations.
Yes.
Is Vancouver not the best city you've been to, or what?
What?
I heard they are what?
No. Is Vancouver not the best city you've been to, or what?
I heard, hey Vic, remember the Vancouver or what? Where is he? Where's the microphone? Oh, in the way in the back. Say that again.
One more time.
One more time.
Is Vancouver the best city you've been to, or what?
Hell yeah!
I love Vancouver. This is my second time here. I'm actually staying for a couple more days because I, in fact, love Vancouver. I want to see more of it.
You know what I did this morning, y'all? I went out and played golf in Stanley Park with Dean Redmond. We got up at 7:30 in the butt crack morning and went out there, and there's a little par 3, like a little pitch and putt golf course. We were going to go play like a full-on golf course, but we didn't have enough time with the schedule. So we went out there. It was a perfect day. And we hit the ball around and had a great time, and it was beautiful. You guys, I've been up here probably 5 or 6 times, and it gets better every time I come up here. I love this city. You guys are very blessed.
Yeah, you're very blessed.
Such a beautiful city.
And I honestly do, when people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are talking about, like, where should I go? We're going on vacation. I'm like, if you haven't been to Vancouver, you really should, because it's gorgeous. It is one of the most beautiful cities in North America. And for those who haven't been, I compare it to what I think is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, which is Melbourne, Australia. Vancouver is the closest in the way that it feels, and the culture, and the way that the people, and the architecture, and everything, as the closest in North America that I have found to Melbourne, Australia.
And if you guys, you know what, let me turn it back on you. If you have not been to Australia, go visit Australia someday, because it is a beautiful country. The people are so friendly and wonderful. The cities are great. It's you'll really enjoy it.
And while you're down there, take the extra 4-hour flight and visit New Zealand, because it's also stupidly beautiful.
I mean, while you're there, it's good. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful places. We got, let's see, like 2-3 more questions.
Okay.
This question is more for Mike, but what is your opinion on the depiction of Master Roshi in the latest DBZ live-action movie?
The one that came out like 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah.
That was Chow Yun Fat, right? Yeah? I think so. The whole room of Dragon Ball fans, nobody's giving me a yes. Nobody watched that movie.
Well, we're fans. Of course we did.
Was it Chow Yun Fat?
Yeah.
Sweet. I think that's who it was. I do recall watching the movie and going, that guy is the best actor in the movie. So that part's awesome. I think, as there hasn't been another one made, I don't think that it hit the audience that they were hoping to hit with that movie. And as far as the portrayal of Roshi goes, I don't recall it being super pervy and over the top, so I think that's part of the Roshi charm. But of course, it's live action, they're going to change stuff.
Yeah.
Hi there. I was wondering, is there any advice you would give people looking to get into voice work, voice acting, or what qualifications you'd have to have, things like that?
I don't know. I have a list of things that I think are important. I think it's important that you just in general study acting. Voice acting is one aspect of being an actor. So even if you're like, I never want to do those other things, you have to study them. You really do. It is a benefit to you. There are very, very, very few people who never do that and only voice act and are never very successful at that. It's not that they don't exist, there's just not a lot of them. Study acting, study improvisation, voice and diction, all these sorts of things. Try to get involved with local theater, try to get involved with acting classes. I have been acting professionally for, I don't know, between 17 and 20 years. I take acting classes on a weekly basis. I still want to train, I still want to learn things. I think it's something that you will never ever find the end of. You can always find ways to be better. And then along with that, if you're looking for a specific type of work, once you have all of that experience and all of that training, then find where that type of work is done, and whether or not you have a job, whether or not you have a whole lot of things lined up. If that's what you want to do, then you make it work. You move to that place and you find that job and you find ways to make it work. You need to plan. You don't need to just, put your stuff in a handkerchief and carry it on a stick like a bum in an old 30s cartoon. But there isn't a whole lot of like, well, I'm not able to leave, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that. To be honest, the sad truth of that, as far as producers and companies go, like they hear that story and they're like, well, we don't care, because we're going to find someone that does. We don't care that you can't do this and that you can't do that and you can't do that, because there's going to be this guy that can. So you always want to be the guy that can do everything, or at least is willing to.
I like Mike. I've been acting since I was 10 years old, performing, I should say, in all different forms. And it never even occurred to me to be a voice actor. I loved acting, I loved performing, and it wasn't until about 15 years ago that somebody encouraged me to go and audition for this company that dubbed anime. It was never any big plan. When people write me and say, my dream is to be a voice actor, well, the goal should be to be an actor first and foremost. Almost all of the people that we work with have a very extensive background in acting, first and foremost. Also, people sometimes write me and they say, I could never do like theater or stage acting because I'm too nervous. I'd have stage fright, but I think I could voice act. I don't think that's true. I think voice acting is just as intensive and requires just as much confidence and being comfortable out of your skin and doing something weird or crazy or loud or sad or sobbing or fearful, just like on stage. In fact, sometimes even more so. Because when you're on stage, you're looking out into a black room. You don't really see the audience. You know they're out there, right? But in a voice acting situation, you're in a box and there are two guys just on the other side of the glass going like this.
Yeah, judging every single thing you do.
Listening to every single sound that your voice makes and analyzing it and trying to get the best performance. So it's important, like Mike said, I know I'm just kind of reiterating what he said, but to get as much experience as an actor as you can is the key to voice acting, and being where that kind of work is done.
And I believe this is probably going to be the last question because it's 4:28.
Which is your favorite sad and happy Miyazaki film and why?
Favorite sad, happy Miyazaki film?
No, sad and happy.
Sad film and happy film of Miyazaki's. Let's see. I don't know. I like,
it's like, what voice he
you didn't stump me. They're just all so good. Which supreme pizza with everything do you like?
Yeah, they're all sad and happy. That's what makes them so great. They take you through the gambit, you know what I mean, of emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's from his company. That's what I was going to ask earlier. Like, could it be like Miyazaki's company and not necessarily him because he didn't do that one? But Grave the Fireflies is super sad. I don't know. I like Spirited Away so much. I like Kiki's Delivery Service so much. It's so awesome and beautiful.
Howl's Moving Castle?
Howl's Moving Castle. Yeah. It's hard to just sit there and go like, oh, it's that one.
How about you? What's your answer?
We're in the same boat, right? Yeah.
You guys, thank you so much.
Yes.
I hope the weekend's been good for you. It's been a wonderful Anime Revolution weekend, and thank you for joining us for these.